We aren't going to talk about beach grass at all this Flosstube update because I stitched a house. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. It is Wednesday and it is the middle of May, and I didn't look at the calendar to see what the date is because who cares? It's May. I know it's May. I know it's the middle of May, and honestly, that's better than I've been tracking the calendar lately, so let's go with that. Last video, I showed you I had started a new project. I had started Travel Memories, which is a Dimensions Gold Petite kit, and 12 days ago, I just had the butterfly done and this little postcard behind the butterfly. And I kept going. This is, I think I said last time, almost entirely half stitches except for the butterfly and a couple of other things like the stamp and the pen and the little photo corners. It goes fast. It is all in shades of brown. Well, the background is all in shades of brown, which is becoming challenging as I work on the Eiffel Tower, but I still love it. If you're not familiar with this kit, here's what it's going to look like. This is about 2 weeks of stitching, and I am tickled pink with how it is going. I bought the pattern because it was gorgeous. I pulled it out and thought about starting it and went, oh no, look at all that brown. I'm not going to do that. And then a couple of weeks ago, I picked it up and started gritting fabric, and I was off like a shot. Last video, someone left a comment about the quilts I had finished and my attitude towards them, like it was no big deal that I had quilted 2 baby quilts. In my house, in my life, I want it to be no big deal that I quilted 2 baby quilts because it didn't used to be a big deal. It was a big deal when I first learned how to quilt, but then I got decent enough at it that it was just something that happened. I was the kind of quilter who, my husband would be working a night shift, the kids would be in bed, I'd see a pattern, and I'd have a bag of scraps from the thrift store, and by morning I also had a quilt top, and I miss those days. I miss that level of enthusiasm and energy, and quilting a baby quilt should not be, for me, in my house, a huge accomplishment. There are other things. If I planted a tomato plant and grew some tomatoes, that is an unsurmountable thing I wouldn't even try. But quilting a quilt or knitting a pair of socks is not one of those things. I like it when I can get enthusiastic about a project and it can just happen. And this week, a Saltbox house just happened. I thought that I was headed somewhere where I was going to need a mindless project. None of my current stitching is mindless for me. Other people I'm sure could do it while having a conversation, but no, not me. So I figured I'd start a Saltbox house because these roofs and walls are great for doing while you're talking to someone else. And I was going to start a different one. I was going to start, I think it's Aunt Bee's summer house that has beehives. And I went over to see if the printer was plugged in, and I apparently at some point had printed out the pattern for this one. I think it's Elizabeth Hartline's Saltbox. It's pretty. I don't remember planning to stitch it other than vague plans to stitch all of the Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting Salt Houses because I love them that much. But it was printed, and I had fabric, and I have floss, and so instead of fighting with the printer, I gridded my fabric and I outlined some windows. And then the thing I thought I was going to do that would have required mindless stitching didn't happen, but by then I was having so much fun with my little salt box that I just kept going, and this is maybe 5 days of stitching. I dropped everything else. That's why there's no beach grass in this video. And I stitched a salt box, and this is what I want to do. I want to make things. I want to do things. I don't want to have to fight myself to get the energy to do the things. The salt and pepper, black pepper twist, whatever the shawl is called, it is not just happening. Unlike the shawls from the past 3 or 4 videos, this one's just plodding along, and part of me thinks that's because it's gray and black, and I'm It's not quite as entertaining as that really bright one that I showed you last time that I said wasn't my colors. If it was October, if it was a dark and stormy night, I would totally be embracing this, but I am not embracing it today, and that doesn't matter. The garter stitch is garter stitch. I've got one more skeiny yarn to put into this, and then I think I'm going to pick out something more vibrant or more springy or something, I don't know. Part of me thinks I should pull out Beach Babies and work on that beach grass at least a bit. Part of me wants to do another salt box house. Part of me wants to work on Travel Memories or maybe the no count cross stitch flower. I don't know. My plan for today is not set in stone. It's still early in the morning. I had to wait long enough that the sun was up and not glaring deeply behind me. But I think I'm off to a good start today, and I'm going to go see what else I can get done before it's time to cook dinner. I've got hours and hours to play with. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my Romantic Tangle. I'll be back with you soon.